today. Let me go ahead and share the screen with you. So while we are talking about this, I want you to go with, oh, sorry, wrong button. We're going to be using the book, the student book, so I will tell you which page are we going to be looking at. And the page that we are going to go to is the following. We are going to go to this. What did I get myself into? And the page that starts the unit 2 that says mistakes and mysteries. So we are on page, let me tell you which page is it. I'll make this probably a little bit smaller so we can see it better. We are in page 9, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we're in page 9. So this is where we're going to start. So what did I get myself into? So that's what we are talking about. So whenever we say the phrase, what did I get myself into? We normally use it when we say, what kind of problem am I in right now? Has anybody ever used that phrase? Like whenever you're talking to yourself? Never? I guess never. You haven't. And before we read the 3 situations, I have a question for you. What kind of problem, without looking at the page of the book, so let me move it a little bit. But what kind of problem do you think that these 3 people got into? We have a girl that is smiling, a boy that is probably thinking, and a girl that is doing a different face, right? So can you tell me, from your perspective, what kind of problems do you think that they got into? Any idea? Maybe they forgot their homework, maybe they, yes?
I think one of them maybe forgot to do something in the work.
That's a great definition, right? Maybe one of them forgot to do something at their job, right? Which one do you think it is? Is it any of the girls or the boy?
The boy.
The boy. That could be it. We don't know. Let's see, Fabiola Hernandez, what do you think? What kind of problems do you think that they have? Fabi?
Um, um, I don't know. I
Like,
think
mhm.
the girl to have the hair rubio,
The blonde hair. Okay, excellent.
blonde hair.
Huh?
The boyfriend broke it. I don't
They
know. Breakup? No, breakup. Yeah, breakup.
they had a breakup. Okay, that could be it. You don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe that's why she's doing that face like, that's what happened. Let's see, Letty, what do you think? What kind of problem do you think these people had?
I don't know. I think a lot of problems. I don't know
Well,
exactly,
yeah,
but
but
I
what
agree with
idea?
host.
You
Uh
agree with
huh.
Jose that one of them had a
Yeah.
problem at the job? Could be. We don't know. We're going to see it together. Let's see, Fabi Valdez, what do you think? What kind of problem did they have?
I think the blonde girl forgot something. The boy probably had problems at the school, like with his grades. I don't know.
That's a great guess. But let's take a look at it and see what really the problem was that each of them had. So if you notice, each of them had a name, right? We are going to start with the one that is the girl that is from Mexico. So the girl that you see over here with the black hair is Alicia. She's from Tepec. She's from Mexico. And she's going to tell us a little bit about the problem that she has. So we're going to read about it. And I want to ask you, like, what would you have done if you were in the same situation that these persons are into? Let's see, Luis, could you help me out to read the problem that Alicia had?
Okay, I was supposed to be studying for a math test this weekend, but my friend made me go to the beach with them instead. I mean, I didn't have to go with them, but I did. Now the test is in 2 hours, and I'm totally unprepared. I should have stayed home and studied.
And started. So that's what happened. She went with her friends to the beach, right, to have a good time whenever she had an exam that she was supposed to study for. And now she's regretting that decision. So, Luis, I want to ask you the question. what would you have done in the same situation? Would you have gone with your friends to the beach, or would you have stayed at home and study for the test?
I would study in the beach.
You would have studied at the beach, so you would have gone with your friends and taken your books.
Yes.
That's a great plan. That sounds fantastic to me. Let's see, William, what about you? What would you have done in that situation?
Hmm, I would have studied a lot before going to the beach.
Okay, that's fantastic. You would have studied a lot before going to the beach. Let's see, what about you, Valeria? What would you have done in that situation, in the same situation as Alicia or Alicia?
I think the same two ways
You would have studied
in the beach.
in the beach as well. Okay, that's a great plan. But let's take a look at the second situation, right? So that's the first situation from Alicia. She went to the beach when she had to stay home and study. And as you may imagine, they may have problems. And as you see, there are certain phrases over there that we are going to use to talk about the problems that happen to us from time to time. So let's see, Fabi Valdez, can you help me out to read the problem that Kenichi from Osaka is having?
Okay. In high school, I had to wear a uniform, so I didn't have a lot of fashionable clothes. When I started college, I thought I needed to have more. So I waste a lot of money on trendy outfits, but I really shouldn't have done it. Now I am broke.
Okay, excellent. So notice the problem that Kenichi has. Kenichi had to wear a uniform in high school, but he didn't have a lot of fashionable clothes. So when he started college, he started buying a lot of expensive clothing, expensive shirts, expensive pants, expensive suits, and all of that. And because he was buying all of those expensive stuff, now he doesn't have money anymore. Has it ever happened to you that probably your parents give you some money and then you waste it in probably something you didn't need, and then you say, I wish I had the money that I got at the beginning? Has anybody ever been in that situation? You get some money, you waste it, and then you regret it? Probably not.
Yes, all the time.
Yes.
All the time, really. So what happened to you? What was the situation? What did you waste the money on?
Like when I go out with my friends and I spend money in the food or buying something, when I am at home, I think about I don't I wouldn't have do that and I regret, but it's done.
And the damage is done. There's nothing you can do. And it's true. Sometimes when we go out with our friends, we think, we'll waste this amount at Pizza Hut or at Burger King or McDonald's, and then you don't have enough. And what about you, Fabi? Fabi Hernandez, what happened to you? How did you waste your money that time?
Uy, I have a lot of stories, but the last one I think when my I have money, but to my birthday, yeah,
For your birthday. Okay.
yeah, and I say I have to keep it off, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
myself, for a thing I really want in some point in my life, but I want to eat one day, and I say, yeah, why not? And I buy money.
That's why.
Yeah,
Yeah, I understand. Sometimes you have the need, right, to buy something, to get something that you like, but sometimes you have to hold on a little bit. Let's read the last problem that we have. That this one is from Melanie from Toronto, Canada. And we'll see what's the problem that she's having and what is she dealing with. Let's see. Can you help me out to read the problem with Melanie, please?
Okay, we weren't supposed to cook in our dorm rooms,
Hmm?
but I had a microwave anyway. The cafeteria was right next door, so I really didn't need to have it. Anyway, I got caught making popcorns last week, and the school took the microwave away.
Just imagine. So the problem that Melanie had is that she was in a dorm room. If you don't know what a dorm room is that in the United States, whenever students they go to the university, they have the option to live in the campus and they have their own room that is called the dorm room. So in some places, they have the rule that you cannot cook in there, right? The universities have their own cafeterias. In some cases, they have even restaurants. So she had a microwave in the room. So she was caught doing some popcorn with the microwave, and they took the microwave away. So the thing that happened to her is probably something that hasn't happened to any of us. But I have the question for you. Have you ever been caught doing something that you were not supposed to do? Like this girl over here. Have you ever had that experience that probably somebody told you, don't do that, and then you do it, and somebody sees you? Has anybody ever been in that situation? For example, when you're at school and they tell you you're not supposed to use your cell phone at school, and probably you're just checking, or you're not supposed to eat it during the class, and then you have a candy or something like that. Nobody. Okay, good for you. Good for you. You haven't done it. So you see that these people have different problems, right? And they are using a specific type of vocabulary to talk about these kind of situations. So notice that they are using phrases like, I was supposed to do this, we weren't supposed to do this, I had to do this, etc. And that is the vocabulary that they are using to talk about their problems and situations that they should have done differently. So today, we're going to reflect a little bit about that vocabulary. We're going to learn how to use it. We're going to do this listening exercise in another moment. But today, we're going to talk about this. That is the past modals and phrasal modals of obligation. So these are some of the phrases that they were using in those problems that we're going to check out together. Let me go to the presentation because you can see it better from there. So when you want to talk about past obligations, things that you were supposed to do, things that you were obligated to do, we're going to use some of these phrases. The first one that we have is should have. We have used should have before, if you remember, but we're going to use should have to talk about the things we believe were good ideas, but we didn't do. Okay? Things we believe were good ideas, but we didn't do. And we have some examples like, I should have studied at home. Oh, sorry, I should have stayed at home and studied. My dad should have taken that day free. And we should have brought an umbrella with us today. So those are the things that you believe at the time that were good ideas, but you didn't do. Then we have the other phrase that is was supposed to. And was supposed to is used to talk about something you were expected to do, but you didn't do. That means that somebody required from you to do something, and at the end of the day, you didn't do it. And we have the examples like, I was supposed to wear my sports uniform when I had physical education. You were supposed to ask the teacher during class, and they were supposed to paint the house before we came back. So those are two of the phrases. We're going to see the others step by step, but we're going to focus on these two. So first of all, I want everybody to please open up your microphone. We're going to repeat together these phrases and practice the pronunciation. So everybody with your microphone on, repeat after me. I should have stayed at home and studied.
I
I
should
should have
I
stayed
should
at
have stayed
home
at home and studied.
Okay, now we're going to say it with the feeling that they are saying it. I should have stayed at home and studied.
I should
I
have
should have
I
stayed
should
stayed
at
have
at
home.
home and
studied.
studied.
It's like when you are complaining, right? You are saying like, I should have done that. One more time. I should have stayed at home and studied.
I should have
I
I
should
stayed
have
should have
stayed
stayed
at
at
home
home
and
and
studied.
studied.
Okay? I listen to some people saying should have. Whenever you have the word should and have together, we don't say should have. We say should have. Like that. Should have. Say it with me one more time. Should have.
Should have.
should have.
Should have.
Okay, excellent. I want to listen to everybody one more time. Should have.
Should have.
Should have.
Should have.
Okay, excellent. Let's do the other one. My dad should have taken the day free.
My
My
dad should
dad
have
should
taken
have
the day
taken
free.
the day free.
One more time. You're complaining. My dad should have taken the day free.
My
My
dad
dad
should have
should have
taken the
taken
day
the day
free.
free.
Taking the day free.
Pretty good. Let's do the other one. We should have brought an umbrella with us today.
We
We
should
should
have
have
brought
brought
an
an
umbrella
umbrella with
today.
us today.
With us today.
One more time. We should have brought an umbrella with us today.
We should
We
have
should
brought
have
an
brought an
umbrella with us
umbrella with
today.
us today.
Today.
Very good job. Now we'll pronounce the other ones with was supposed to. So say with me. I was supposed to wear my sports uniform when I had physical education.
I
I
was
was
I
supposed to
was
wear
supposed
my
to
supposed to
sports
wear
wear
my
uniform
sports
when I had
uniform
physical
when I
education.
had physical education.
Very good job. Let's do the other one. You were supposed to ask the teacher during the class.
You
You
were
were
supposed
supposed
to
to
ask
ask
the
the
teacher
teacher
during the
during the
class.
ask the
class.
teacher during class.
Very good job. The other one. They were supposed to paint the house before we came back.
They were
They
supposed
were
to paint
supposed
the
to
house
paint the house
before we came
before
back.
we came back.
Came back.
Okay, excellent. We're going to repeat all of them one more time, but with a more natural way. Say with me. I should have stayed at home and studied.
I should have stayed
I
at
should
home
have
and
stayed at
studied.
home and
Stay at
studied.
home and study.
Excellent. My dad should have taken the day free.
My
My
dad
dad should
should
have
have
taken
taken
the
the
day
day
Should
free.
have taken the day free.
We should have brought an umbrella with us today.
We should have
We
brought
should
an
have brought
umbrella
an
with us
umbrella
today.
with us
Umbrella
today.
with us today.
Today.
I was supposed to wear my sports uniform when I had physical education.
I was
I was
supposed to
supposed
wear
to
my
wear my
sports
sport
uniform
My
uniform
sport
when I had
uniform
physical
when I had
education.
physical education.
Okay. You were supposed to ask the teacher during the class.
You were supposed to
You were
ask the
You were
supposed
teacher
to
during
supposed to
ask
ask
class.
the
the
teacher
teacher
during
during
class.
class.
Excellent. They were supposed to paint the house before we came back.
They were supposed to
They
paint
were
the house
supposed to
Supposed to
before
paint
we
paint
the
the
came
house
back.
house before
before we
we
came back.
came back.
Okay, excellent. Pretty good job, everybody. So now I will ask you, and I will ask you a couple of questions. Fabio Valdez, tell me something that you were supposed to do at school when you were having presential classes.
I was supposed to. I was supposed to not eat during the class.
You were supposed to not eat during the class. And did you do it at some point?
Yes, but I do it when I was come to the recess, so I think it's not.
Ah, so when you
not
were coming from the recess, but
yes.
that happens. Let's see. What about you, Luis? Tell me something that you should have done the last week, but you didn't do.
I should have done one of my um, wait, homeworks.
You should have done one of your homework assignments. Okay, which one? From which subject?
English. School.
English from school.
In school.
Because you did the one from here, so I remember. Okay, excellent. Great job. Valeria, tell me something that you should have done last week, but you didn't do.
I should have cleaned my room.
You should have cleaned your room, you didn't do it?
No, totally.
When were you supposed to clean it? Which day of the week?
Friday or Saturday.
Friday or Saturday? Hey, why didn't you do it?
Because I don't be in my house.
You were not at home.
No.
Where were you? Where did you go?
In my grandma's house.
I were at your grandma's house. That's fine. That's the reason why. Good afternoon, Dieguito. How are you today?
Hello, teacher.
Hello, how are you doing? How's your Monday?
So.
So? Okay, hope that it gets better as we go through the class. Hopefully. Let's see, Letty, tell me something that you were supposed to do today in the morning. And probably you didn't do.
I was supposed to finish my homework.
Which homework? From which subject?
Uh, I have a lot of homework. For example, math homework, English homework. So all of my homework.
All of your homework assignments. Okay, I just want to make this correction to everybody because I always hear that everybody says homeworks. Just a little change. With the plural for the word homework, it's not homeworks, it's homework assignments. So whenever you have more than one homework, you have homework assignments. So not homeworks. The same happens, for example, in the last class we talked about this, that is advice. The plural is not advices, it's pieces of advice. So whenever you want to tell me that you had a lot of homework, you can tell me, I had a lot of homework assignments. Okay, that's the way I want you to tell me. So let's see, William, tell me something that you were supposed to do during the weekend and probably you didn't do.
I was supposed to clean my room.
And you didn't do it?
No,
Why not? What happened?
because I was not in my house.
You were not at home. Where were you? Did you go visit a relative on a family trip?
Yeah, basically a family trip.
Ah, that's fantastic. That's great. So that's why you didn't have the time. But at some point you will do it. Camila, tell me something that you should have done on Friday. What you should have done on Friday.
I think it. I
Eat.
don't think I ate. To, I don't take breakfast.
So you say it with me. Say it with me. I should have eaten breakfast on Friday.
I shouldn't. How to say?
Should have eaten
I should have eaten breakfast.
on Friday. Okay. And why didn't you eat breakfast? What happened? Did you wake up late? Something happened?
Because yes, I wake up late and my school classes start at 7 a.m.
At 7 a.m. What time did you wake up on Friday?
At 6:15.
6:15.
50 Shades of Grey.
Yes, yes, Letty.
Yes,
Okay. Let's continue with the other vocabulary. So we have should have. Remember, for the ones that just came in, should have. We're going to use it to talk about things that we believe were a good idea, but we didn't do. And was supposed to, we're going to use it to talk about things we were expected to do, but we didn't do at the end. Let's take a look at the other words. So after this one, we are going to have had to and didn't have to. So what's the difference between the two? When you're talking about had to, we are talking about things that you were forced to do, that were an obligation for you. And we have the examples. I had to wear a uniform at school. That was something that you had to do. It was an obligation. And probably now that you are in virtual classes, you don't have to wear a uniform. The next one. My brother had to go to piano lessons after school. It was an obligation for him because probably my parents were paying for that and he didn't have an option. The other ones. My all had to finish. Sorry, there is a problem with that one. Is all of us had to finish a project at work by the end of the month. Whenever you're working, and probably some of your parents do, they have to finish something by the end of the month. And that's the thing that they have to do. They have that responsibility. Let's see the next one. When you use didn't have to, we are talking about the opposite. We are talking about things that were not an obligation for you to do. For example, I didn't have to study medicine at college, but I did. That means that this person didn't have the obligation of doing it, but at the end he decided to do it. The other one, we didn't have to go to my grandparents' house this weekend. That means that your parents gave you a choice. They told you, would you like to go to visit your grandparents? And probably you said no. And that's why it was not an obligation. We have the other one. People didn't have to get the vaccine, right? Since we are in the times that we are, it was not an obligation. It was something that people didn't have to do. It was not an obligation at all. So that's the two phrases. Had to, whenever you had an obligation, and didn't have to, whenever you didn't have an obligation. So let's repeat them together. Let's practice the pronunciation. So I want to listen to your microphones on. And the ones who do not activate their microphone, we're going to give them a penalty because I listen to some people that they don't do it. But let's see. Repeat after me. I had to wear a uniform at school.
I had to wear a uniform at school.
Uniform at school.
Aha. I see the four people. Okay, let's do it one more time. I had to wear a uniform at school.
I had to wear a
uniform at school.
Okay, say with me. My brother had to go to piano lessons after school.
My brother had to go to piano lesson
after school.
Excellent. We all had to finish a project at work by the end of the month.
We
all have to finish a project at work by the end of the month.
Excellent. Now we'll pronounce the other ones. I didn't have to study medicine at college, but I did.
I didn't have to study
medicine at college, but I did it.
We didn't have to go to my grandparents' house this weekend.
We didn't have
to go to grandparents' house this weekend.
Okay. People didn't have to get the vaccine.
People
didn't have to get the vaccine.
Okay, I have a question for you. Tell me, this is for everybody, or I will ask somebody in a specific. Tell me, Diego, did you have to turn off your cell phone when you were at school, when you were in presential classes?
Yes, I was.
Yes, I had to, Tom.
Yes, I have.
Yes, I have. And have you ever broken that rule? Have you ever, had your cell phone on during the class?
Yes.
Yes, and what happened? What did the teacher tell you?
No, nothing. He don't darse cuenta.
She didn't notice.
She didn't notice.
She didn't know. So you were safe. Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. What about you, Fabi Hernandez? Tell me about a rule that you had to follow at school. A rule that they had in the classroom, in your grade, or in the school in general that you had to follow.
I have to paying attention in class.
You had to pay attention in class. So that was a rule.
Yeah.
And you were always paying attention in class?
Yes, always.
And which class was the one that you paid attention the most?
Mathematics.
Mathematics. That's what. So you're pretty good at math.
So.
So. Tell me yes. I believe.
Yes, of course.
Okay, excellent. Great. That's fantastic. So let's see, Fabi. In the other case, Fabi Valdez, tell me as well something that you had to do at school. What was one of the rules that you were forced to follow?
At school, we didn't have to use the cell phone in class.
You didn't have to use it, so it was not permitted allowed. Okay, excellent. No. And what happened if you had an emergency and you had to use your cell phone? Were you allowed?
You have to ask for permission to the teacher.
You should ask for permission for the teacher.
Yes.
Have you ever been in that situation? Like you had an emergency and you have to answer the phone and tell your teacher?
Yes, I asked for permission, but didn't was an emergency. So.
It was an emergency. Okay. It was just a regular call, but you asked for permission. Excellent. Valeria, tell me something that you didn't have to do at school, something that was not an obligation for you, that was optional to do it or not.
I think. Oh my God, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe use white tail.
Use?
Like when you do your tail, hair tail,
Your fairy tale? A fairy tale? Like you
hair,
ride?
no,
Uh-huh.
hair tail.
Your ponytail, your
Aguanta.
hair?
Yeah, yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
Use
You
white.
use what?
How do you say cola?
I just you didn't have to use a ponytail.
Yeah,
Ah, so that wasn't an obligation. That was something that was optional.
yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. So we have didn't have to as well, and we have had to that are for using. Remember, had to obligations and didn't have to for things that were not an obligation. And I guess that we're going to see the last phrase over here that is needed to. When we talk about needed to, we're going to use it to talk about something that was completely necessary for us to do. We can use it in the following ways. I needed to keep good grades in order to apply to a scholarship. Then my sister had to work even on weekends to get a promotion. And finally, you and I had to work extra hours to pay for the apartment rent. So those are things that were strictly necessary. And there is a difference between something that is an obligation and something that is a necessity. The difference is an obligation is something that you're forced to do, even if you like it or not. And a need, or in this case, something that you need, is something that you have to do in order to get an outcome, in order to get a result that you want. Maybe you want to get good grades, maybe you want to have a better opportunity, maybe you want to get something at the end, then you just need it to. So let's pronounce the last sentences and then we're going to put them into practice. So say with me, I needed to keep good grades in order to apply to a scholarship.
I needed to
I
keep
needed to
good
keep good
grades
grades in
to
order
apply
to
to a
apply
scholarship.
for a scholarship.
Very good. So let's use the other one. My sister had to work even on weekends to get a promotion.
My
My
sister
My
sister
had
had
sister
to
to
had to
work
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 even on
even
even
on
on
weekends to
weekends
get
to
a
weekends
get
to
a
get a
promotion.
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 Excellent. You and I had to work extra hours to pay the apartment rent.
You and
You and
You
I
I
and I
had
had
to
to
work
work
extra
extra
hours
hours
to
to
pay
pay
for
for
the
the
apartment
apartment
rent.
rent.
Let's do it one more time. I needed to keep good grades in order to apply to a scholarship.
I
I
needed to
I
needed
keep
to
need to
keep
keep
grades
good
good
in order
grades
grades
in
in
to
order
order
apply
to
for
to
apply
a
for
apply to a
a
scholarship.
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 Very good. Let's do the other one. My sister had to work even on weekends to get a promotion.
My
My
sister
sister
had
has
to
to
work
work
even
even
on
on
weekends to
weekends
get
to
a
get a
promotion.
promotion.
And the last one. You and I had to work extra hours to pay for the apartment rent.
You and
You
I
and I
had
had
to
to
work
work
extra
extra
hours
hours
to
to
pay
pay
for
for
the
the apartment
apartment
rent.
rent.
Okay, excellent. Great job. So now we're going to see this vocabulary using context in order to ask some questions or to answer them. So whenever you have questions like these ones, normally you will use them when you have questions that start with have you ever. We have the example like have you ever enjoyed doing something that you weren't supposed to do? Like they are asking us if you, for example, do something that was against the rules and you enjoy doing it at the time. So you can answer like this. Sure, I was supposed to only take an hour for lunch at work, but I used to take 2 hours. So that's something that you enjoy doing, or this person enjoyed doing, but they were not supposed to do it. It was not, they had just 1 hour, but they took two. The other one, have you ever followed a rule that you didn't like? You can say, yes, I have to always wash the dishes at home if I wanted to go out with my friends. That's a rule that you have to follow at home. The other one, have you ever not done something you should have done? Yes, I should have sent a report to my boss yesterday, but I forgot to do it. So that's the way in which we answer those questions. So let's repeat them together as well. So repeat after me the following questions, and then we're going to practice how to answer them. Say with me, have you ever enjoyed doing something you weren't supposed to do?
Have
Have
you
you
ever
ever
enjoyed doing
enjoyed doing
something you
something
weren't
you
supposed to do?
weren't supposed to do?
Excellent. Say with me, sure, I was supposed to only take an hour for lunch at work.
Sure, I
Sure,
was
I
I
supposed
was
was
to
supposed
only
to
supposed to
take
only
an
only
take
hour
an
take an
for
hour
lunch
hour
at work,
for lunch at work,
But I used to take 2 hours.
but I
but I
used to
but I
take
used
used
to
to
2 hours.
take
take
2 hours.
2 hours.
Excellent. Let's do the other one. Have you ever had to follow a rule you didn't like?
Have you
Have
ever
Have
you
you
had
ever
ever
to
had
had
to
follow
to
follow
a
a
follow
rule
a
rule
you
rule
you
you
didn't
didn't
like?
didn't
like?
like?
Yes, I had to always wash the dishes at home.
Yes,
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 I
I
have
have
to
to
always
always
wash
wash
the
the
dishes at
dishes at
home.
home.
Um,
If I wanted to go out with my friends.
If I
If I
want
want to
to
go
go
out
out
with my
with
go
friends.
out with my friends.
Okay, let's do the other one. Have you ever not done something you should have done?
have you ever not
Have you
Have
ever
you
done
ever
done
something you
something
not
should
done
you should have
something you should
done?
have done?
Okay, yes, I should have sent a report to my boss yesterday, but I forgot.
Yes, I should
Yes,
have
Yes,
I
sent
I
should
the
have sent
should
a
report
have
report
sent the
to my
report
boss
to my
but
boss
I
yesterday,
yesterday,
but
but
I
I
forgot
forgot to
to.
do it.
Okay, pretty good job. So notice this is the way in which you answer the questions. So we have some questions for us to practice as well over here. They are the same ones that you have in the book, but we're going to see them over here. So let's go back to the first question. And I will ask some of you if you have ever enjoyed doing something that you weren't supposed to do. Let's start with Letty. Letty, have you ever enjoyed doing something that you weren't supposed to do?
I think yes.
Yes. What was the thing that you enjoyed
Uh,
doing?
I have to go to school, but for an obligation by my dad, and actually I like it because I share time with my friends, and I think it's great to go. But at the end, I didn't like it
Why not? What happened?
because I think it's better at home. You take your time to do a homework, and you can have your classes in a comfort place,
From
and you
your
don't have to.
bed and things like
Yes,
that.
I didn't want to say that, but yes, and I think you don't have to wake up pretty early.
So that those are the advantages. So you weren't supposed to enjoy it, and at the end you did. Okay, fantastic. What about you, Jose? Have you ever had to follow a rule that you didn't like? Maybe at school or maybe at home? Jose?
Mm, I don't know.
You know?
Oh, in my school, we have to. I don't know how to say it. Put the shirt into the pants.
Put the what?
Así meternos la camisa en el pantalón.
Ah, okay. To yeah, there is a phrase for that in English. Is to tug in your shirt.
Tugging the shirt.
Okay, so you had to tug in the shirt, but you didn't like to do it.
Yes,
Why not?
yes, we have to tug in the shirt, but sometimes it's little uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Yeah, I understand. I understand because when I use uniforms and I have them inside, I have to tuck in my shirt. It's pretty uncomfortable. I get you, but it's a rule, and we didn't like it. Let's see the other one. Let's see, Fabi Valdez. Tell me, have you ever done something that you should? Oh, sorry. Have you ever not done something that you should have done?
homework. Like I didn't do the homework and I have to do it because has a really big percent.
A big percentage.
Yes, just a big percentage.
And that's why sometimes homework is really hard. And it's really,
Yes.
really hard to have a lot of them. Excellent. Let's see the other one. Have you ever gone to a place that you didn't like? Diego, has it happened to you? Like you have gone to a place that you didn't like?
Um, all the place I in general I don't like to go out.
To any place? You don't like to go to any place?
And mm,
Not even to
see, yes, yes,
Metro, to
to
the
any place.
beach? You don't like to go out?
I like I like
Mhm.
to go out with friends,
Okay.
but
But alone
no,
or with your family?
ajá,
You don't like to go
no tan lejos, pues,
not so far away from home.
not so far. Yes,
Okay. So you don't like going to places like the beach, the volcano.
yes, but when I have a good humor, No sé.
When you are in the mood, that's how you say it in English.
Yes.
Say it with me. When I'm in the mood.
When I in a mood.
Say it one more time. When I'm in the mood.
When I in a mood.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, when you are in the mood, you like to go, but sometimes we are not. Let's do the other one. So let's see, Luis. Have you ever worked with a person that you didn't get along with?
Yes, I had to do a social project with
Mm-hmm.
one person, but I do it right. I managed to do the project.
Okay, that's excellent. So you managed to do the project even though you didn't get along at all. That's fantastic.
Yes.
Excellent. And we have the last question. Have you ever said something that you should not have? Let's see, Fabi Hernandez, what about you? Have you ever said something that you shouldn't have?
Yes.
Yes. To whom?
I to my for everybody.
To everybody.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Um, for my mother, I say something that she don't like to say, and I say only sorry.
You said only sorry. So you said something that
Yeah.
I understand. Sometimes we have those moments in which we say things like those ones. Okay, now that we have gone over to the vocabulary, I want to move your attention a little bit to the book. So notice over here we have the same information, just a little summarized. We have the past modals and phrasal modals of obligation. We have, as I was explaining to you, should have, that is used to talk about something that was a good idea, but we didn't do. We have I was supposed to, that is used to talk about something that you were expected to do, but you didn't do. We have had to, that is used to talk about things that we were forced to do. Didn't have to, that is to talk about things that were not an obligation. And needed to, that is to talk about things that were necessary for us to do. So let's do the little exercise that is on letter B over here. So it says over here, choose the answer that is true for each sentence, then compare with a partner. So we have 4 sentences over here, and we have different options. So we are going to guess what are we trying to express with that phrase from those 2 options. The first one that we have, I should have invited them. So when you say this phrase, you think that when you say I shouldn't have invited them, that means that you did invite them, or do you think that it means that you invited them? What do you think? I shouldn't have invited them. It's a little complex, right?
I think it's letter B.
Letter B, I invited.
Same. B.
Exactly. It is letter B. Do you know why?
Yes, I think.
Okay. Can you tell me what's the reason, Letty?
Because the letter B said that you did it, and the sentence said that you should not
Have done it.
have done that.
Exactly, right. That's the reasoning. So it's letter B. The reason for this is the one that Letty was explaining to us, that you did an action because you thought it was a good idea. And probably these people that you did invite, they end up making a mess or they were misbehaving. So at the end, you invited them. That's what you're implying. Let's see number 2. That was a secret. You weren't supposed to tell anyone. So we have the options. You didn't tell anyone or you told someone. What do you think it is? Letter A or B?
Letter B.
Letter B. Why letter B, Fabi?
Because it's saying that don't have you didn't have to do, and letter B is like you did it, so
Exactly, right? You did it. So when we're talking about this one, it says that was a secret. You weren't supposed to tell anyone. That means that this person told you something in confidence, and at the end, you were telling someone else about that secret. Excellent, pretty good analysis. Number three, we didn't have to study for the test. So we have the options. Letter A, we forgot to study, or letter B, we were prepared for the test. What do you think?
Letter B.
A or B? Okay, we have
Letter B.
letter B. So two people say B, one person say A. Does anybody else think that is letter A?
Letter B.
Letter B. So let's take a look at the other two of them. We didn't have to study for the test. So that means that we didn't have the obligation of studying for the test. So over here we say we forgot to study. But when you forgot, that doesn't fit that well. But the letter B, we were prepared for the test because you didn't have to study. You didn't have the obligation. You were already ready. It's letter B. Let's see number four. I know Jane didn't like my cooking, but she didn't need to be so rude about it. So do you have letter A? Jane was rude to me, or Jane wasn't rude to me? That was pretty easy.
Letter A.
Letter A,
Letter
right?
A.
Excellent. So Jane didn't like my cooking, but she didn't need to be so rude about it. So she didn't have the obligation to be that rude, but at the end, she was rude to me. So this is the way in which sometimes you can analyze those sentences to understand what's going on. Let's keep on going a little bit more with the book. So we're going to do this little discussion. We already did it. We already answered these questions. So we're going to go a little bit quickly with this thing over here. So we're going to talk a little bit about this vocabulary. That is recognizing the problems. These verbs are often used to talk about problems, that this is what the unit is all about, and use this phrase to replace the bold-faced words in the phrases in the sentence. So I have some examples for you over here. All of these are different verbs that you can use to describe a problem, and we're going to see their meanings over here. So whenever you have these verbs, we have the following vocabulary. We have the word aggravate. That means to make a problem even worse. If you already have a problem and then you aggravate it, that means that it becomes even worse. Then we have the word avoid. That is to keep away from doing something. You have cause. That is making something that creates a result. Deal with is to take care of a problem or a situation. Identify is to establish or indicate the cause of something. Ignore is not paying attention to something or someone. Run into, it means to meet someone or to meet something that is unexpected, and to solve means to find a solution to something. So that is the meaning of these words. If you want to take a little screenshot for you to not forget, it's okay. But if you don't want to, this presentation is already in the platform in the most recent post, so you can go ahead and check it out later. But let's see how we can use the following verbs actually in a sentence. So we're going to use it like this. I aggravated the problem by lying. So notice over here, I have the verb that is, I aggravated the problem by lying. You can say over here, Jason avoids getting into problems when he drives. The storm caused many problems for the fisherman. I have to deal with problems as soon as possible. The doctor identified the cause of the problem. My dad is ignoring that not paying the bills is a problem. I run into a problem in the morning. That's why I'm late. And I will solve my diet problems as soon as possible. So we're going to finish the class a little bit just by pronouncing these last words, these last phrases, and then we're going to see each other on Wednesday. But let's pronounce it with me. Say with me, I aggravated the problem by lying.
I aggravated the problem by lying.
Say the other one. Jason avoids getting into problems when he drives.
Jason avoids getting into problems when he drives.
The storm caused many problems for the fisherman.
The storm
The storm caused many problems for the fisherman.
The other one. I have to deal with problems as soon as possible.
I have to deal with
problems as soon as possible.
My doctor identified the cause of the problem.
My doctor
The doctor
Doctor identified
identified
the
the
cause
cause of the problem.
My dad is ignoring that not paying the bills is the problem.
My dad is
My dad
ignoring that
is
not
ignoring
paying
that
the
not
bill is a
paying the
problem.
bills is a problem.
I run into a problem in the morning and that's why I'm late.
I
I
run
run
into a
A
into a
problem
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 in the
in the
in the
morning.
morning. That's why
morning.
I'm
That's
late.
That's
that's
why
why
I'm
I'm
late.
late.
I will solve my diet problems as soon as possible.
I will
I will
solve my
solve
diet
my diet
problems as
problems
soon as
as soon as
possible.
possible.
Okay, one more time. I aggravated the problem by lying.
I aggravated
I
the
aggravated
problem by
the
lying.
problem by lying.
Jason avoids getting into problems when
Jason
Jason
avoids
avoids
getting
getting
into
into
problems
problems
when
when
he
he
drives.
drives.
he drive.
the next one. The storm caused many problems for the fisherman.
The
The
storm
The
storm
caused
storm
caused
caused
many
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 problems for
problems
problems
the
for
for
the
the
fishermen.
fisherman.
fishermen.
Excellent. I have to deal with this problem as soon as possible.
I
I
had to
have
I
deal
to
have to
with
deal
deal
this
with
with
this
problem
this
as
problem
problem
soon
as
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 soon as
possible.
soon as
possible.
possible.
Excellent. The doctor identified the cause for the problem.
The
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 doctor
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 identified the
identified the
cause
identified
of
cause
the
the
of the
cause of
problem.
the
problem.
problem.
My dad is ignoring that not paying the bills is a problem.
My
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 dad
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 is
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 ignoring
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 that
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 not
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 paying
paying
the
paying
the
the
bills
bills
is a
bills
is
is
a
problem.
a
problem.
problem.
Okay. I run into a problem in the morning and that's why I'm late.
I
I
run
run
into
I
a
run
into a
into a
problem
problem
in
problem
the
in
in
the
the
morning.
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 That is
Is
why
why
I'm late.
I'm late.
Excellent. I will solve my diet problems as soon as possible.
I
I
I
will
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 solve
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 my
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 diet
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 problems
problem
problem
as
as
soon
soon
as
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 soon as
possible.
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 Okay, everybody, pretty good job. So we don't have much time. We have just like 4 minutes. So before we leave, I want you to do the following. If you have a notebook, please write the following so you know what to do. So for Wednesday, a little homework assignment. That is not going to be that much. So from those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, from those 8 words, just write over there. If you're in your notebook, write homework. You write those puntos seguido, and then you write to create 4 sentences using the vocabulary for recognizing problems. If you're writing, that is to create 4 sentences using the vocabulary for recognizing problems. Choose 4 of the words and create a sentence per each. So, for example, if you want to pick, let's say I want to pick the first 4, I want to pick aggravate, avoid, cause, and deal with. So you're going to use these 4 sentences, these 4 words, to create a sentence, like the ones that we are on the other slide. So you can give me a sentence like, I aggravated the problem by doing this. I avoid doing this to get into problems. I caused the following when I got into problems, but I had to deal with the following in order to avoid problems. So I want you to create 4 sentences with them, and on Wednesday, I want you to tell me your sentences orally. I want to listen to them, and I want to, if it's not necessary to send me a picture, but just to tell them to me so I can listen to your pronunciation. I can make sure that you know how to use the vocabulary, because if not, we're going to practice a little bit on Wednesday about that. So that's the homework assignment. So remember, create 4 sentences choosing only 4 of the following words that I'm showing in the screen if you don't have the book, or if you forget, please take a screenshot, write it in your notebook so you don't forget. And if you don't find them as well, remember that they are in page number, what is it? Number 12 of the book. That's when you can find them as well. So that is the homework assignment. And we are already at 6 p.m. Yes, 6 p.m. So we're going to finish over here. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your Monday. It's almost time for dinner, so bon appetit if you're going to have your dinner already and have some nice time with your family. And if you're go ahead and going to eat and watch something while you're eating, I hope that you enjoy it. We're going to see each other until Wednesday, so have a nice evening. Bye bye.
Bye,
Thank
teacher.
you, teacher.
Bye,
Bye.
teacher.
Bye bye.
And sorry for my microphone.
Bye.
No problem.
Happy Teacher Day.
Thank you, sweetie. Nice day as well.
Bye.
See you next time.